Hi, and welcome back. It's Jennifer Britton. It is day 5 of our 5-day Coaching Business Builder Challenge. You made it. So I want to congratulate you. And today is all about wrapping up this process. And we're going to dive into the heart of the Coaching Business Builder book. So we're talking all about productivity. And if you've not gotten a copy of Coaching Business Builder, it's a workbook planner geared for coaches. If you're looking to grow your business because you're new, or maybe you're seasoned, or maybe you have been sort of somewhere in between, this book is really geared to help you get focused, get clear, and get into those daily steps and consistent action to generate some momentum. So a few days ago, we started this process, whether you were here with me live or you were here with me on demand. And I want to take you through what you've accomplished this week and where we've been. So we started 5 days ago looking at building your vision. We talked about the lighthouse. We talked about how important vision is in anchoring our work. Why are we doing this? On our second day together, we then moved into our skills and mindset. We walked the wheel of coaching business and got you to think about where you are with your skills and also your mindset. On our third day together, we looked at building your toolkit. So what were the resources? What were the things that would help you move ahead? And yesterday, we looked at building your community and your team. Maybe you're opting to stay as a solopreneur, or maybe you're looking to grow. Ivana Valle and I did some work around the stakeholder mapping, getting you to think about who are your immediate stakeholders and who are beyond that fringe. And finally, step 5, build your productivity. And that's really taking us today into the heart of coaching business. So let us get into that. And first, just want to remind you, if you're watching this in summer 2022, I'll be kicking off the first annual summer camp for coaches as of September 7th. Registration is going to close on June 30th. It will be running from July 7th to August 15th, 2022. The camp is geared to give you focused time on areas of importance. So maybe you're looking at group coaching or team coaching, or just building your coaching business in general. You will be part of a track where you're going to take a deeper dive. And on Mondays, we'll do that deep dive call into your area of expertise or focus. So maybe you want to grow your coaching business. We'll be looking at 5 core areas there. Tuesday evening, I'll be joining you from Lakeside or Riverside to take you through an experiential evening program. And then Wednesday, because Wednesday is Wednesday, it's all about getting things done. And I'll be hosting a special midweek event, whether it's a get it done day, whether it's a design sprint. The program is really geared to get you in that hour together through some hurdles and walking away with things in your hand. And we all know how important that is. On our Thursday, we'll be looking at a Q&A call. It'll be open office hours, so you can bring whatever questions you want, and I'll be talking about those for an hour. And then on Fridays, there'll be an open house call at either our Learning Lab and Design Studio or the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. Those 2 programs meet every other week throughout the year. And so I want to open those up to our summer camp participants as well. So in addition to the program, the live program, you're also going to get access to a couple of our on-demand programs, marketing tips for your group and team coaching programs, and the 60-day Coaching Biz Accelerator. Love the Coaching Biz Accelerator. That, in fact, is going to give you 60 days of prompts, 60 days of micro learning, and a worksheet geared to really gain clarity and action around your business. And if you choose after summer camp to join us, you'll also have a $250 gift certificate or discount towards our Coaching Biz Growth Lab. Now, if you're watching this video at a later date, inquire with us. Maybe the summer camp will be running again. So today, productivity, and I want to bring forward one of the many tools we looked at yesterday, which was the 4D model. The 4D model, as I shared, comes from Jack Cranfield and others who in the mid-2000s came up with this model. It's actually been adopted by Microsoft, and it's a great, simple framework to help us take that long laundry list of things to do and start breaking it down. So if you're watching this recording, first off, I want you to just make a list of all that you have to do. I'm going to do this real time here on the call. We're going to take a minute, and I'd love for you to just note what is on your to-do list for the next, let's let's call it the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, next month. And we will take a minute right now just to jot that down. Make your laundry list right now. All right, that's about 2 minutes. And now I'd like you to look at that list and see what you want to do, only you can do, and what might you want to dump. Is there anything on that list that really is not adding value in the short term, medium term, or long term? Is there anything there that really is a distraction and isn't aligned with that vision that you set earlier this week? Those are the things that, and the questions we want to ask to really identify what we might dump. Now, defer it means that we might move it forward into the year. So maybe, could this be a fall project? Could this be something that gets done in the next year? Think about what you might want to defer. And finally, what might you want to delegate? What are the things that you want to just get others to do? With that, invitation after right now, stop it again, stop the recording again, and go through the session and really come up with your list of do, dump, defer, and delegate. And if you're looking for a good article on delegate it, I'm going to actually invite you to head on over to the Teams 365 blog. You'll find it over at potentialsrealized.com. And one of my favorite articles that I wrote years ago was really the 5 W's of delegation. So what can you delegate? To whom? That's our second W. Why is it important? If we delegate things and we don't share the why around it, it really may not get done. And we want to be very clear with our timeframes. When will it get done? So we've got our what, why, where does it need to go? And we've got our who as well. So with that, yesterday was our 4D model. Today, I want to introduce you to 2 more areas. Number 1, task switching. And I have to say, this is an area that I'm very cognizant of in my work. It shows up when I'm having to move between different types of tasks. So for example, just before this call, I had a couple of different things happening. Earlier in the morning, I had calls. I had to develop this PowerPoint. I had to set up an email. I then moved on to a call with a client, a one-on-one call. And then I had to do bill payments and now move to this. The cost and the weight of that cognitive switching without being able to drop into tasks of a similar nature really can slow us down. And there's a little percentage here that I quote in Coaching Business Builder about the weight of time of 40%. 40% is also the amount of time that we're spending in meetings. So if you head to section 4, you're going to find a little bit around some of these areas in terms of cognitive tasks, time management, and personal productivity. Shows up on page 114. So I just want to read a little bit here. Doing more with less is a key mantra of today's business context. At the same time, most of us are inundated with email. Consider these factoids. 40% of our productivity can be lost due to multitasking or what's called task switching. And that comes from Brainy Quote. Actually, no, it doesn't. It comes from Psychology Today in 2012, the true cost of multitasking. So we've seen, even during the pandemic, even more volume happening on that. Washington Post, and this was back in 2016, reported that in late 2016, we spent almost 20.5 hours a week looking at email. Wow, 20.5 hours a week. How much is that in your overall week? What I find interesting is here in Ontario, there was a recent law passed. We're recording this in the summer of 2022. A recent law was passed called the right to disconnect. And employees at this moment of time now have the right to turn off before and after work. They no longer are required to even look at email or respond to email. So if we're spending 20.5 hours a week on checking email alone, and we're only working 36 to 40 hours a week as a salaried employee, what does that mean? And I think this is a really significant area around knowledge management. How are we communicating? How are we empowering people to do their work without having to do an automatic feedback loop? Every time we touch a different task, it creates an energy loss. So for real high performance, we need deep focus, and we really want to minimize that task switching as much as possible. So think about that and what cost it may have for your work. And I think this is really linked to something else that happens, which is managing interruptions. So on page 115, you're invited to think about where your time goes, and that you can do that by tracking your time in 15 to 30-minute increments. I will put a link in the YouTube recording area, as well as the email, to some of our time trackers. And I think you might find that really, really interesting. We actually do it in the 60-Day Biz Success program. But part of our managing interruptions is the fact that when we get interrupted, it can take us a lot of time to get back online. This, in fact, is area 4. You'll find it on page 120, 121. Again, I'm going to read from Coaching Business Builder. The fourth tip in prioritizing your time is about managing interruptions. As I said, the typical leader can be interrupted up to 56 times a day. So every time when we do get interrupted, we need to stop what we're doing, we need to refocus, and then we need to get back into action again. Studies from Dr. Gloria Mark show that it can take upwards of 22 minutes to get back on task again. We don't often factor the cost of the startup again, so we might not completely be able to get, so while we might not be able to completely get rid of interruptions, what we want to do is to be able to manage them more effectively. So here are a couple of ideas in terms of managing your interruptions. 1, minimize interruptions. So turn off some of the technology, right? And think about those emails coming in, those buzzes coming in. What does it do in terms of managing or interrupting your flow, interrupting your joy, interrupting your deep focus? I had an experience yesterday when I was in a learning session, and actually just at this one opportune moment, even though I had my phone on vibrate, a call came in and totally just interrupted that flow. Another element we might want to consider is tracking our time. And if you're tracking in those 15-minute increments, you might notice that at certain times of day, communication, correspondence, phone calls come in. Is there a way then to reshuffle your day? Is there a way then to look at how you structure your day, or maybe turn off technology or go somewhere else to do that work? Notice where you're really getting interrupted. The value of deep focus is so important. In fact, a lot of researchers are talking about the fact that this is really the era of attention. Our attention is limited. And from the time we get out of bed in the morning and maybe even look at our stream or what emails we've missed, like, our attention is precious. There is a cognitive load. I'm going to go back to this 40%, right? There is an energy that gets expended as we're moving throughout our day. So what are you choosing to focus on? What tasks? And we have examples of people who have gone, I wouldn't call it to the nth degree, but who have, for a variety of reasons, been very intentional on looking at where their attention has gone. We have people like Steve Jobs, who wore the same quote unquote uniform every day. Think about how much time for yourself is spent in making decisions around what you're going to wear, how you're going to do your hair, what you're going to have for dinner, what is on your task list, right? Part of productivity is about planning. And that 5 minutes of planning can save upwards of 1 hour, 60 minutes of unfocused effort. So as we see, all of these things start to stack: planning, managing interruptions, looking at cognitive task switching. It's another reason why I wrote Coaching Business Builder. As you know, it's a workbook planner. We have not really dove into the planner component, but here's one of my favorite resources, which is the monthly daily tracker. So as I said, it's a daily planner, but more so it's a weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual planner. If you open up your copy, which I hope this week has invited you to do so, and of course you can get a copy digitally on our potentialsrealized.com website. You can order it there, or you can head over to Amazon. But right at the back is this daily planner sheet, right? And if you head on over to coachingbusinessbuilder.com and plandotrack.com, on the front page, you're going to find a link to download these daily planner sheets. Take them, start working with them, spend 5 minutes a day thinking about your top 5 goals for the day, the things that you need to do. Maybe jot down those business notes. I have a colleague who actually put the daily planner onto, she copied it, laminated it, and then it became a dry erase board. And so at the end of every day, rather than using a piece of paper, what she then did was took a picture of her planner page, the laminated planner page, and then wiped off the day because she had a photo of it. And I think that's really brilliant. As someone who, unfortunately, I still have a love affair with paper. And while for many years I've justified that in the fact that in the late 1980s and the early 1990s, for 4 summers, I was a tree planter here in Northern Canada. Looking at our resources, right? There's a lot of paper that this business consumes in the course of a day. So think about how you might get savvy with your elements and using digitization. Same thing with the monthly daily tracker, right? What I love, and here's a thing about how to use this. This is an opportunity for you to go through day by day and really look at what are the main tasks that you're taking. So you're going to notice at the top, right, this blank space. So if I'm tracking for the month of July, which I'll start to plan for in a few days, I may note down all the things that I'm doing on a personal or a professional basis. I might note the days that I'm speaking. I might note the days that I'm meeting with groups. I might note when I am doing administrative tasks. I might note when I'm writing. I always like to have a few categories of personal items as well. So I usually note when I'm swimming, when I'm walking, maybe when I'm cooking, you know, whatever is important. And you can choose whatever areas are important for you. But if we're looking at developing new habits, it can be extremely valuable to be looking at it from a macro level. And this is where every month you'll have 12 sets of the monthly daily tracker in the back of Coaching Business Builder and Plan, Do, Track. And these become very influential in looking at what you're doing, when you're doing it. And I would invite you at the end of every month to take some notes, right? There's a little notes box there. What do you notice at the end of the month? What do you notice about what it's like to track your data? In addition to just shading it, so I haven't even mentioned this, but you can put numbers down here, right? Maybe one thing you're tracking is sales. When do your sales come in? What is the value? What is the amount? And then another way we can do it is actually shade it in. So you might see a nice, beautiful colored layer. I didn't bring mine with me. I do these almost every month and have done so for 5 years, but it's a great tool to really see that shading. And again, if you head on over to coachingbusinessbuilder.com, in the blogs, you'll see some examples of the monthly daily tracker being completed. Invite, use these, work with these. Next week, on the 30th of June, I'll be inviting those people who are coming to summer camp to join me for a mid-year review. We're going to do not only a quarterly stock taking, but we're going to do a mid-year review and take a look back at the first 6 months of the year and look ahead to the last 6 months of the year. The annual planning pieces are here and embedded, and I just want you to pick up your book and flip through. Again, you are going to see those annual resources very much at the front end. So in section 5, the planner, just right after that, starting on page 129. And so you're going to see an annual master list of things to do this year. See, I use my planner as well. Annual vision, what's your vision for 12 months from now? What are your financial goals, your client goals, etc.? We're going to do a meta view around annual goals and milestones. And then we're going to have, there's space for an annual tracker and an annual project calendar. Every year, as part of our labs, so the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, the Learning Lab and Design Studio, I hold a January 1st planning session. And that's really important because I can now go back mid-year and we'll be actually filling out some of the project calendar and the annual tracker looking backwards. Another tool that I hope that you're using in the book is, of course, the quarterly planning tools. Again, notice it. It has space for you to note your quarterly to-dos, reflections on what you did, and your planner. So I can look at what I had down and wrote down at the end of March for April, May, and June. And I could go back and see, have I done it? There was a revenue goal. I think we got pretty close to it. New corporate clients, absolutely. Supervision studies undertaken. This was the end of March, and you'll see me like light up here. Yes, I actually will have completed 60 hours of supervision study in a beginning of a year-long process. Set up for summer, absolutely ready for that. While work, writing, speaking, and work. So those were 5 goals, and actually I think we're pretty close on all of them. I'll have to crunch some of the numbers for the finances. Top priorities: increase number of students and programs, that's happened. Increase visibility, increase more free time, and thanks to my team, I'm able to do that. So it can be really empowering to look back and notice that some of these are going to be stretch goals. So every month I meet with people who join me in our monthly planning sessions. Make sure that you're going through that. You can also check the YouTube channel for reflective month-end reflection sessions, and I hold those with our lab participants as well. So if you're curious more about the lab and are looking for ongoing business support, I hope you'll join us. I think right now the best option is join us for the summer camp. If you're listening to this at the end of June, we kick off in a couple of weeks. This has really been a 5-day ramp up to get you started thinking about your vision, your goals, your team, your priorities. And as we said today, what is going to help move the needle? It's been a lot of fun, and I hope that you've taken some daily steps. My invitation for today and the daily steps is to actually pull open the planner part. If you haven't done annual planning, look at that. If you haven't thought about your quarterly goals, look at that. Maybe you want to join me next week, Wednesday, when I do the quarterly planning session with the mid-year review. Maybe you want to track your June goals, right? Tracking is just as important as looking ahead. So note and maybe pull out one of those monthly daily planners that I just shared with you, monthly daily trackers. What you can also do is just start today, right? Today is officially the 24th. Never too early or too late to start with your monthly daily tracking. If you miss a day, don't worry, go back, do it. I often have done that. I typically do it on a weekly basis. I try to keep up every day, but it's not always top of mind. So I hope that you have enjoyed this. Who can support you? We hope that we can support you at Potentials Realized. Consider joining us for summer camp. You can find out more about that over at groupcoachingessentials.ca. Also, consider joining us for a lighter touch in the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. We meet twice a month, Fridays around midday our time. Calls start at 11:35 a.m. Eastern. They run to 12:20, and we meet bi-weekly throughout the year. There is a half-year pricing on that if you want to join us mid-year for July, August, September, October, November, December, January. And just note that people who are joining us for summer camp will get an additional $250 off that price. So it's a very budget-friendly opportunity to work with me and my team around growing your business on a consistent basis. We've been leveling up. I hope now, day 5, you've got a much clearer vision. I hope that you've thought about co-facilitation, how you can partner. I hope you've got that delegation list, and that you've also done the 4D model on your list from today. It really was a pleasure to support you throughout this challenge. I hope that you will manage your interruptions, look at your task switching, and also think about the 4D model. We've done a lot of great things, and our focus this week is not done. Coaching Business Builder is meant to be used 365 days a year. As your host, I want to thank you for joining us. Please let us know what you enjoyed out of this challenge. You can always reach me at jennifer@potentialsrealized.com. We've covered a lot of range. And so whether you are new to coaching, whether you are seasoned, or whether you're somewhere in between, there's always need for another step each and every day. If you like this challenge, share it with your colleagues. We'll be offering this now as an on-demand resource going forward, at least for summer 2022. And people can join our list at any time. And starting next week, they will then get a drip of each one of these days. Spread the word, share this resource with your colleagues, and do stay tuned at groupcoachingessentials.ca for more resources around business development. I can't wait to get started on July 7th, 2022 with the summer camp. And so registration closes just before our Canada Day, which is July 1st. Let me know, even if you're just curious, let me know by June 30th if you're going to be joining us for summer camp. Pricing is $1197 US. You can pay that in 3 monthly installments of $399. And again, that is going to be enabling you to work with me, to work with the team over the course of 5-6 weeks of the summer. We kick off our next call. So people will be joining me actually for that mid-year review on the 30th. And then we'll be kicking off our first open house sort of hours on July the 7th. The following week will be the first of our Monday calls. We'll have 5 of those. So I really think if you're looking for some of that support around your daily steps and consistent action this summer, join us. You can find the link again over at groupcoachingessentials.ca, and I'll make sure I pop it in the YouTube channel. So with that, everyone, take care, be well. I hope you will stay tuned. We've got a few more challenges geared for later this summer, and they're going to be good ones. So if you're a group coach, if you're a team coach, do stay tuned, even if you're curious. We will be having challenges coming up in the near future around team coaching and also reconnecting workspaces. All right, everyone, take care, and thanks for joining us. Be well, and I'll see you soon.